Hi guys, so today I want to give you an overview of the fragrances in the Maison Margiela Replica collection, and specifically just looking at the EDT versions, and not all of them. I mean, there are a whole bunch, so I'm going to be looking at 10 from this discovery kit, and they are the 10 that you'll come across most often, and also the ones that you'll see in stores, and the ones that tend to be more popular. So I want to rank them for you, just to give you a sense of which ones to kind of test out more and focus on, and then which ones you could probably ignore. But of course, it's all subjective. But I think in general, the ones that I put in the bottom aren't so impressive to me, and then the ones in the top are worth a second look for you guys probably. So there's also a more expensive line in the Replica series that comes in the black bottles, so I'm not covering those. I think Replica in the EDT version is already kind of expensive for the designer side, right? So the 100 mLs go for like $134, and then the 50 mLs $72, I think. So a bit more, and they're not often discounted. So they are a bit more expensive, but I think that this is a great brand to look at if you're into designer fragrances. And among designers, it's kind of unique in sort of really focusing on painting a picture. And I think the best fragrances are those that are able to do that, really paint a scene. And that's the whole idea behind these fragrances. So I think from that standpoint, the scent of all these fragrances are all pretty good and for designers and pretty unique, and so I like them all. So the ones on the bottom aren't necessarily bad scents, but ones that I might not consider a full bottle of. So let's get right to the list. So I'm gonna start with number 10, which is, and the bottom few are some of the fresh ones from the line. So number 10 for me is Bubble Bath, and number 10 and 9 are interchangeable. You could put them in whatever order, but Bubble Bath is essentially, it's got this soap accord, and that's really all you get. Of course, there are other notes like lavender that enhance this feeling of being of taking a bath. But really, we talk a lot about soapy fragrances, but this fragrance literally smells like soap, and like a white bar of soap, like Dove, Ivory, whatever, just a plain bar of soap. It smells nice. Like I said, all these fragrances smell nice, but it's really kind of boring for me, and so that's why that one is at the bottom of the list. Also doesn't perform all that well. So let's move on to number 9, which is Lazy Sunday Morning. And basically, Lazy Sunday Morning is an aldehydic scent. So what does that mean? It's sort of supposed to give off like a linen-like smell, very clean, but it ends up being quite light for me. In this case, they also push kind of a main rose note, so it does have a slightly very light floral touch to it. I wouldn't say so feminine. There are a couple others in the line that are more feminine, but again, it's at the bottom because this one wears a bit too light. Initially, I thought this was comparable to something like Byredo's Blanche, but it's actually on further testings, it's nowhere close to that. So just because it has aldehydes, it doesn't put it in the same category. So number 8 is gonna be Springtime in a Park. Now this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. I think the scents are less boring from here on, and this one was composed by Jacques Cavalier, who did a bunch of fresh fragrances. He's one of the kings in fresh scents. He did Issey Miyake's L'Odyssée pour Homme, and then the Bulgari Aqua. I don't know how many of those he did, but I know he did Aqua Amara. So he did this one, and this one does in fact take you to the park. I'm based in New York, and it really reminds me of springtime in Central Park. A lot of greenery and a lot of flowers. It's a very floral scent. It's sweet because of this pear note, and I think in general pear is really nice, really pleasant in fragrances. It has a very refreshing vibe that's kind of sweet, fruity, and then floral. The thing is that for some people it might be a little bit feminine. So if you're a guy who's into masculine scents, this is not the ideal choice. It's not so unisex as some of the others in the line, but I do like it. So in my opinion, a bit better than Springtime in the Park would be, let's see, where are we? Number 7. Yeah, number 7, which is Under the Lemon Tree. And I think some people might rate this one higher because it is kind of interesting, you know, and you know, I think it has an attractive scent profile, right? Anytime you have citrus mixed in with some, you know, kind of green woody elements, it's a mass appealing scent, but you know, the name is kind of misleading. Basically, Under the Lemon Tree is predominantly a lime scent for me. It literally kind of smells like lime, where in the opening it's a little bit too simplistic. You know, it just smells like you just squeeze some lime juice. But I do have to say it does improve actually slightly as it dries down, and you get some more interesting facets. You get, in fact, I'm just gonna spray it just so I can remind myself. Yeah, it's a really fizzy, kind of sweet lime, like a you might find in a soda or a drink, like a cocktail. And then there is in the background a kind of you know, I almost get a woody vibe from it. I think there is a green tea note in here, and that's really what this is. And you know what, smelling it again now, I might place this a little bit higher, but look, there are so many great scents from this line that I'm just gonna put it here at number 7. If you like fresh scents, this is one of the top few in the line for fresh scents. So yeah, I think it's really good. It's a really good summer scent, but again, this type of scent is really, you know, really for summer wear, and it's not really a kind of signature scent, and I do like scents that are a little bit stronger, more versatile. All right, so next up, number 6, and you're gonna be surprised that this one didn't break the top 5, and by me saying that, you already know what's coming up. It's Jazz Club, right? You know, the two fragrances, as you know, that get talked about the most from Maison Margiela Replica are Jazz Club and By the Fireplace. Now, Jazz Club, it's a good scent, but the issue I have with it is that, you know, it's basically a rum tobacco scent, but it smells very, very familiar to me. It's nice but familiar, if you know what I mean. So actually, you know, when I first smelled it, I was a little bit more impressed, but then after a while, smelling it again and again, I think that it reminds me a little bit of like La Nuit de l'Homme, and that's why I think it's so appealing to people. It just has this very nice, you know, attractive sweetness. It's a bit like La Nuit de l'Homme combined with, you know, the ambergris that you might find in Creed, like in Green Irish Tweed. And it's a weird combination, but it's sort of, you know, what I get. So the point is that, you know, there's something very familiar about the scent profile, and so it's a bit boring. I know that Sebastian said it reminds him of like Dolce & Gabbana The One, and so again, I think it might remind you of other fragrances. I think if you like that type of vibe, I think a little bit better, in my opinion, is Whispers in the Library. Is it Whisper or Whispers in the Library? So this is basically a vanilla-based scent. So I don't like actually fragrances that are too heavy on vanilla and too sweet. I think they come across cheap smelling. Here it's tuned just right. So it's not overly sweet. It's not doesn't put too much emphasis on vanilla. Actually, the notes are vanilla and are pretty simple, vanilla and woody notes. And I found that when you mix vanilla with woody notes, certain woody notes, sometimes you get like a boozy vibe, even though there's no note like rum. And so this might give you what you're what you're after if you are looking at Jazz Club. So it might give you sort of that in a different feel. I like in general sort of the imagery of, you know, kind of old dusty libraries or lounges, that kind of thing, and this does give you that feel. So I think if you like that, then this might be a better choice. It's a little bit because it's simpler than Jazz Club in terms of composition, I think it's a little bit better actually at recreating the vibe, whereas Jazz Club seems a little bit too mainstream for me. Okay, so where are we now? So that was number 5. Number 4. Number 4 is at the Barbers. Now, the reason why this is placed so high is, you know, number 1, I like fougères, and you know, I think this is basically a fougère, but I think this is one of the more modern smelling kind of fougères. It smells kind of youthful and invigorating. It doesn't smell old at all, and so it has this nice freshness. I think a lot of people will like it as sort of an everyday wear signature, very versatile kind of scent. And so I think they did the classic sort of barbershop scent quite well. What people will say is that it has actually a lot of a shaving foam smell, and I do agree with that. You know, I don't like that sort of product or smell in general, but it does remind me of that, but in a good way, right? So they've basically perfected that type of scent in a fragrance, and I think it's a great fougère if you like fougères. It's you know, for the price, it's actually, I think, quite good. You know, I find that you find really good fougères in the niche territory, but it's a little bit harder to come across in designers. All right, so number 3. This might be a surprise as well. Actually, number 3, number 2. So number 3 for me is Sailing Club. Okay, it's hard to pick up that scent because I'm getting the lemon tree, which is very nice, by the way. A lot of green tea notes. So Sailing Club, the reason why this is so high actually surprised me. I thought this would be one of the ones that I don't like because I don't like blue fragrances or aquatic fragrances so much. Even from the beginning of my journey, you know, here and there I do like certain scents like Versace Pour Homme. Now Sailing Day is kind of unique smelling. It has a very air-like aquatic feel, but it's not like any other aquatic on the market. It does have this salty marine smell that feels very, very light and translucent, but you can still pick it up. And in fact, let me just spray it on the other hand. I've got about 4 fragrances here. Yeah, it almost has, yeah, it also has this kind of aldehydic quality. And it's probably, you know, among the most airy and, you know, fresh scents that I've smelled. It just has a very uplifting quality. And it does exactly that. You know, Sailing Day, it really has every element, right? The saltiness of the ocean water, the breeze. And that's why I think this is so good. And if you look at the note breakdown, it's also a little bit unique. There is this red pepper note. And this is just to show you how they made this kind of unique. There's a red pepper note that you won't find a lot in general, and also with aquatic scents. It just gives it that extra twist. And there's also a seaweed note in here. So all in all, you know, it surprised me because it didn't actually smell very basic, which is what I expected. It smells quite interesting, you know, for an aquatic scent. And I think it's just a very nice summer scent, or just an after shower scent. Anytime you wear a fresh scent, this is a really good one. So in my opinion, number 2, even better, is this might also be a surprise. You know, some people might say it's basic, but Beach Walk actually is quite good. You know, I'll start with saying I'm not a fan of coconut, the smell of coconut and coconut-based scents in general. You know, it's a little bit, you know, it's not ideal for fragrances for me. It's too milky. This one, of course, is, you know, beach themed, and so it is coconut based. But basically what it smells like to me is the best smelling suntan lotion, but it adds this effervescent kind of quality. And so it's very, it has a strong citrusy top with coconut, but the coconut is not overdone here. And so you get this sunscreen smell, or that vibe, and it's done in such a refreshing way that's not too creamy or milky. And that's what I love about this, and it performs really well as well. Just a great scent. You have to try it. You know, the reason I like it so much is it really, you know, among all these do a good job of, like I said, painting the scene, but this one in particular is gonna take you straight to the beach. I promise you. Florida Keys, Bahamas, wherever, right? Caribbean, you know, it's gonna give you that sort of feel. It's so strong, right? At recreating that. Number one, you know what's coming. I agree with pretty much everyone. Number one is By the Fireplace. You know, this was a love at first sniff for me. It's basically, it uses the note of Gaiac wood, which can have a smoky smell, but I've never smelled something like this. You know, the way they create this basically smells like sweetened smoke. There's a note of chestnut with the Gaiac wood, but I've never smelled a fragrance that so accurately smells like the smoke coming from, you know, a campfire. But you're basically roasting chestnuts, you know, on that campfire. And the best part I find is that, you know, for a smoky scent and for a scent that's supposed to smell like smoke, you know, it's actually so wearable. It has just the right amount of sweetness, and then the smoky quality. It's actually a very wearable scent. And what I also appreciate about it is that it's not really going in the gourmand territory. When I saw the note of chestnut, I was a bit scared because I don't like fragrances that go too sweet, right? I don't like gourmands so much. This doesn't go in that direction. It's just right, the balance. So that's why this is such an amazing scent. And I think this one particularly is full bottle worthy. So I'd say, to sum it up, By the Fireplace, a must-have for everybody. Jazz Club, I don't think is a must-have. You should try it out. And then among the fresh scents, two to consider buying a full bottle of, well, testing out first, would be Sailing Day, if you are into sort of airy aquatic scents for the summer, if that's what you're looking for. Or it's just at 3 scents. Beach Walk, and then I would say Under the Lemon Tree if you like citrusy scents. With the twist, it's actually almost like a fig green tea kind of scent, but it has a more fizzy feel to it. So if you like green tea in fragrances, that would be one to consider. Yeah, and any of those choices I think would be great. But the rest, from the 10 that I gave you, not so impressive, and I personally would probably never consider a full bottle of. So, all right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be coming out with a lot more videos. I do have some fragrances lined up for review, some hidden gems, so be on the lookout for it, and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye.